What is up? Welcome to the NBA Rundown, brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm your host, Spread Astaire, joined today by AP, and we will have Tyler with us. Do not fear. We're all running a little bit late today. I'm tilted because I lost a tennis bet. The girl had two chances to serve it out for me at 40-15. Didn't get it done, but that still cannot suppress the joy that I had watching the Utah Jazz finally be eliminated. It's just like Tyler's playlist. There's no Jazz anymore at all. The team's going to be broken up. They're going all in different directions. And I couldn't have been more excited to see that. Of course, every series ended last night. There will be no game sevens in round one pending tonight. Tonight, there's still a chance for a game seven. But we had three chances last night. None of them came through. The 76ers wasn't even fun to watch, and that sucked because I look forward to watching it all day, and it wasn't fun. The Suns was a great game. Credit to Chris Paul, 14 of 14 from the field. And then, of course, we almost had a different song today, AP, if Bojan Bogdanovic drops that final three-pointer. Give credit to Snyder. He was wide open. Shot didn't fall. A little bit of luck there. I'll take it. What were your thoughts on last night's action?
Yeah, it was. Got it right. I thought all the series were going to close out. So that was nice yesterday. And I mean, the one series I was definitely wrong on was the Nets. That was one of the upsets I picked. But we were, I think, if I go back and listen to our show, I think we were high. We all had the Mavs, didn't we? Kind of me, you, and Tyler.
All they didn't was Big T.
Big T. Okay. Yeah. I mean. Yeah. I liked the play, though. I liked the angle that Big T had because the stuff with Luka was so uncertain, and I don't think anyone saw Jalen Brunson kind of rising to the player that he was in that series. Really impressive, and he's been impressive playing alongside Luka too. So I'm torn on this next series spread between the Mavs and the Suns because I got a future bet with Tidal, a nice little $500 locked in. Friendly wager, Warriors Suns, and he's on the Suns. I'm on the Warriors, and I just think the Warriors have too much firepower, and it's Chris Paul. I don't know. There's so many different angles, but I don't even know if we're going to be able to watch that bet happen because this Mavericks team looks good. I think I'm looking at this right now. They're getting plus 230 in this series. And I don't know. It's interesting. I think Luka looks good. I think their defense is elite, especially on the perimeter. And so I'm a little surprised by that number. But, the Suns obviously got it done last year. The Pelicans were a little underrated coming to this series. So I'm not surprised that they're 3-1 favorites. But still, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. This round two is going to be a ton of fun.
I'm with you there on the Mavericks. A couple thoughts about last night. Jalen Brunson, fantastic. I think Luka could work him in a little bit more. He doesn't need to run every single one. That Jazz defense wasn't stopping anyone on the perimeter. Luka's not the fastest guy. He's not beating his man. He needs the pick. When it was, I'm trying to think. It was around 86-80. The Jazz were getting to the hole. They got to the line a couple times. And I said, you know what you need right here? You need just the ball to go through the hoop. I would have liked to see Jalen Brunson work inside because he can beat any of the Jazz perimeter guys off the dribble, and he knows to pull up before Rudy gets there. He had perfected that kind of right inside the free throw line jump shot there, off the dribble there. So a little disappointed that Luka went a little bit superhero mode there. Jason Kidd's the coach, right? Jason Kidd was a superstar too. Makes sense that he would kind of just lead into the superstar is going to get us there, but maybe a little more Jalen Brunson there going forward. But also, I do think that the next round, Luka is the more advantaged matchup than Brunson was because these Suns guys aren't like the Jazz guys on the perimeter. I don't think Brunson's just going to be able to cook them off the dribble like he was. Pretty much all the Jazz defenders were net negatives at a certain point, except for Daniel House, who I thought did a pretty good job, kind of underrated contributions there. So I'm with you, though, because I think they match up really well because as good as the Suns play defense, Luka can beat any of those, right? I mean, Luka can beat the very best defenses. Right. So we'll have a little more time to break that down. But, I don't think that's just right the Suns into the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, and that, I mean, what an awesome scene there right at the end for Willie Green and the Pelicans. The
Mhm.
crowd, stayed and got, a nice applause, standing ovation there, and he was really emotional. So that was really cool to see, obviously, going there against his former team. He was assistant there, obviously, for what, 3 years? Was it 2 or 3 years?
Yeah,
Can't
it
even
was
remember.
2019 to 2021.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. Round two is going to be a ton of fun. Right out of the gate, Bucks. We get Bucks, Celtics, Miami Heat, Philly. This Philly team baffles me. I mean, it looked like another disaster start to them, and then they ended up blowing out the Toronto. I mean, I have no read on this team right now at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, this series, I don't know. I like. Are we going to go into the series, or are we going into tonight? What's the format today, Spread?
Let's start with the series, and we'll finish up with tonight's game, and we'll break down the game. Of course, talk about the showdown slate. Right, not as many options as usual when we have you on for building.
God, I mean, we're gonna look at the chat right now. We're gonna struggle like without Tyler. Everyone wants Tyler. Where's the man? Tyler, if you're out there, you got to get on, brother.
Yeah. He'll be with us real soon, and unfortunately, we kind of already know where he is on this one. So yesterday, I said the Bucks had a chance to win. Big T's in the chat says, you got to bring me on. I can't believe you're saying that, right? So JSU likes the Celtics. Tyler likes the Celtics. Big T likes the Celtics. I was over there on Bucks Island. And, of course, I'm talking with the price. If you put them both at minus 110, I'll join you guys on the Celtics. But I'm seeing it all the way up to plus 175 at certain shops right now for Milwaukee. This is the defending champions. Still going to have the best guy on the floor in Giannis. And I just think this loss of Middleton, in my mind, as good as he's been, there's that many games where he's been bad. And you still have to feed him when he's bad. When you got guys like Grayson Allen, Connaughton, Bobby Portis, when they come out cold, it's fine. Put them on the bench, right? It's not that superstar ego that you have to feed. More usage for Giannis is just fine with me. So I'm leaning towards the Bucks. I feel like I'm on an island. What are your thoughts on the Celtics and the Bucks, AP?
God, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. It's I mean, gosh, this series is going to be so good. Whenever you doubt Giannis, it seems like he puts it right too. And the more you stack the odds against him, it's like the better he plays. So the more the people are going to be on the Celtics, it has me worried. Like I almost like this Milwaukee team as dogs here. So I'll leave it at this. Like, let me pull it up. So we're getting plus 170 on the Bucks. I mean, we're getting, we're getting a little money there. I would probably lean that way, but I think it's such a toss-up. Like, I mean, so many of us were on the Nets in that series, and one of my thoughts is like, are we blinded? I mean, the Celtics had their number; they matched up with them perfectly. Hindsight's kind of 2020, so I don't want to like overreact here because this is going to be a completely different animal for the Celtics team. So I wish I was more confident spread, but like I think if I had to put money down, it would be on the plus 170 that I'm getting with the Bucks in this series. But it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle. Sure, if Middleton was there, it would help. But like you said, they got guys. Grayson Allen played phenomenal without Middleton out there. He was hitting a ton of threes. His shot looks good. Shout out to Tyler for that call. I wish I would have. So that second game that Allen played after the game he went off, and he went off in the next game too, I learned my lesson. I should have listened to Tyler when I was on the show with them, because he talked about Grayson Allen being that guy with Middleton out. Very, very good call from him. But it's going to be a fun series. I'm gonna side with the Bucks just because we're getting plus money there. I don't want to lay 2-1 against the defending world champs.
All right. Me got my last point on something that you said there. It really sticks out to me, and I think that people are going to underlook this. And, of course, we were wrong, right? But the Celtics matched up with the Nets perfectly. When they tried to run their optimal lineup, which has Patty Mills, Goran Dragic, and Kyrie Irving out there, that's such a small team. The Bucks are not going to be small like that. They're going to be Drew Holiday and a bunch of guys that same size, right? Connaughton, 6'5", 6'6". Grayson Allen, a real solid 6'5", right? Bobby Portis plays like a 7-footer, regardless of how tall he really is, right? In hindsight, the Celtics matched up with that Nets team so perfectly. And then, of course, we kind of saw that. The X factor we didn't see was them being able to shut down Durant. But how did they do that? By being physical. You're going to try and do that with Giannis? Giannis has bigger shoulders, bigger arms. He's faster, right? It's not going to be like when Tatum, Tatum, it looked like an adult messing with the teenager there with how skinny Durant was,
Yep.
So Miami, Philadelphia. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I'm with you. Like I think we have yet to see like Drew really kind of hit a stride too. So I think get a matchup that's like physical on physical, and maybe we see Drew Holiday really show up. So that's going to be huge for them in this series. I think Drew is going to be absolutely the key to help take some pressure off of Giannis. But I'm really excited to see the series get started for sure.
Right, because who do the Nets have to stop them at the point of their attack? The Celtics got into every set they want. That's what Drew's Holiday main thing is, and that's why I almost think he's underrated. And Jayshu and Tyler say over at Holiday, but he doesn't let the opponent teams get in their set. They start working so much more later in the shot clock because of the way he's been able to do it. So that's going to be a big key there. Philadelphia, yeah, okay, but you're not counting Drew's thing on the defensive end. And I think the idea that Marcus Smart's just going to shut him down, I don't know. I think you guys might be underlooking this guy a little bit. So you said you have no idea what to make of that Philadelphia series. Let me pull up the odds real quick.
A couple so we know there's concerning things I think on both sides here. Embiid, who honestly looked decent, but the Heat guys, Jimmy Butler didn't practice. It has to be just getting some rest, right? Because I'm showing a lot of these guys missed practice today. So assuming like Jimmy Butler and all their guys are healthy, I do like the Heat in this series. They look so good. Jimmy when he was out there looked phenomenal, and you got to like that. They ended up getting that series. They closed that series out easily without two of their better players out there in Kyle Lowry and Jimmy Butler. So I was going to pull up the odds here real quick, unless you know them off the top of your head.
What do you
minus 170. Yeah, minus one. I hate laying a lot of juice, but I do like the Heat in this series. You do too.
Yeah. So we'll see how it turns out. But AP, we have to give the people what they want, and that's the kid that just keeps hitting all these parlays. Tyler, the NBA playoffs are now like your Spotify playlist. There's no jazz to be found. What did you think of last night?
Yeah, Philly got the job done. Dallas got the job done to no one's surprise. And it was some good basketball, but Philly finally woke up in that second half. They let Toronto hang around a little bit. But outside of that, everything stuck pat last night.
Yeah, you were 3-0 in your predictions, so great job on that. I was wrong on the Raptors. I didn't, I predicted the Pelicans, didn't bet it though. So it ended up being a 1-1 night for me. Could have been a disastrous if Bogdanovic drops that final shot, but a little fortunate there at the end. And then as you're coming in, we're talking about the Heat and the 76ers. We got your Celtics Bucks take yesterday. So let's talk about how the Heat and the 76ers match up in your mind, Tyler.
I think they beat them in either 5 or 6 games. Embiid may have a couple good games, but I think Bam's big enough and strong enough to kind of defensively hold him. Mm-hmm. Harden's not going to have any success in this series. They're going to guard him like Trae Young. And none of their role players are going to be able to beat Miami either. So it's going to be a one-man show against Miami. I think they dispose of them pretty easily. All
right. Let's see the exact series price there. If you wanted to do that, weren't we talking about doing the so Heat 4 zeros plus 850 and 4 ones plus 400, 4 twos plus 425. Do you do the 4-0, 4-1 there, Tyler?
Yeah, I don't hate that. Or you could bet the series spread Heat minus 1.5 plus 120 because I think they win it by more than 2 games.
What do you got?
The Heat, they just have so much more depth. We saw it. We saw them take care of the Hawks without their 2-star players. And gosh, these guys come in and they can all play. You got Tyler Hero off the bench who's decent. You got Gabe Vincent who filled a nice role. Strauss has played good defensively. And then you got that occasional Duncan Robinson game where he comes in and hits 9 threes. So They just have more depth there, and I think they play better team basketball. With Philly, what you get is their starting five, and outside of that, I mean, it's like they don't. I'm not really seeing much. So I do like. I definitely do like the Heat here. I think that the case though is for Philly. Like, I think Maxey and Tobias Harris have to play very well, and they gotta help, do kind of what they did against the Toronto. But I find it hard to see how they're going to get it done here. And Embiid has to be incredible, and he hasn't been as good with the injury he's dealing with. So, man, Philly might be in trouble here. I'm with you guys on the Heat.
All right. Tyler, Mavericks and the Suns. Mavericks, at what I see, is plus 243, implied probability of 29.2%. In my mind, they have a better chance than 29.2%. I know you're higher on Phoenix than me. I haven't placed the bet yet. Do you want to try and talk me out of it?
No, I mean, I could see Dallas playing them well. They play good defense. They have the guys that chase them around. But I just think in the end, Phoenix is just going to turn back into the machine they were when they had Devin Booker before. I mean, first game back, he didn't look all that good. By the time Monday rolls around, I think he'll be back closer to 100%. So I think Phoenix.
I had that exact same feeling. It felt like just a warm-up game, and he's going to be back. Just like Luka, right? First game back was like almost a half. It took him to get back in there.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like he should be back. So I could see Dallas putting up a fight, but I still think Phoenix gets them out of here in probably 6 games.
All right. So, yeah, 6, not a lot of hedge potential there. Because that would be rough. All right. Anything, guys, more on the series before we jump into tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I like the Mavericks here. While I want the Sun, well, I'm kind of torn. But man, I mean, the Mavericks, what they showed us, Dorian Finney-Smith, Reggie Bullock, I think, two just really, really elite defenders. The job that DFS did on Donovan Mitchell, I thought was incredible. And when you think of just from a pure matchup standpoint, and then you have two guys, I mean, defensively on the Suns team, and then you have two guys that can really create. I think it's going to be an interesting series, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Mavericks, got it done here as dogs. So I do think, though, I mean, man, if Booker comes in and assume he gets healthy, it's man, I mean, they're just an absolutely tough team. And then CP3, obviously, he showed us how good he is last night. I mean, that guy is just incredible. So another series that I think is going to be a ton of fun. Wouldn't be surprised though if Luka got it done and got the upset here over the Suns.
Tyler, Mavericks are plus 6 right now. The game's on Monday. When we do this rundown on Monday, do you think the line will have moved in the Mavericks' favor or in the Suns' favor?
Probably in the Mavericks' favor. I think 6 is a bit too much. I think it drops down to like 5, 4.5, somewhere in there.
Yeah, maybe I'll jump in early on that. All right, let's move to tonight's game. The only series with the potential for a Game 7, that is the Memphis Grizzlies taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Timberwolves catching 1.5 at home. Hey, let's just look at the money lines. Minus 118 for the Grizzlies, plus 102 for the T-Wolves. Grizzlies win by 1. Boy, it doesn't seem like worth giving the 10 cents of juice there. 229.5 is the total. I'll tell you what, Tyler, I don't want to get involved with the side here. These two teams are absolutely crazy, especially the Timberwolves. What a schizophrenic team. They go from looking like they're going to take over the Western Conference in the next 2 years to being like absolutely terrible. How did they get in the playoffs? And this is just in the span of 1 quarter. Very tough team to get involved with. And I know it's Friday, and I know AP's on the show, but I have to take the under here. 229.5 is the number. It's gone under that 3 of the 5 games this series. And boy, I think these teams are going to be tight tonight, especially Minnesota, with everything on the line at that 229.5 number. All it takes is one little lull in scoring for each team. And we've seen that Minnesota is prone to those crazy lulls, right? All these comebacks and stuff, they involve one team not scoring for a long period of time. I like the under here, and I haven't taken a side. If you force me to, I'll take the Grizzlies. They're the better team all year. Your model's going to tell you take the Grizzlies. But it's hard to get in front of this Minnesota team that feels like when Anthony Edwards plays his best, he's the best player on the floor. What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, I'm going to side with Minnesota here. I think they get the job done at home. I think they win it. I mean, you've seen these teams. They play better at home. Memphis plays a lot better at home. Outside of that one game where Minnesota just came in, had the big run, and Memphis had to play from behind, and they still picked up the win. All the home teams in this series have played very well. So I'm going to side with Minnesota, maybe even just the first half on Minnesota, because they come out, they run up the score on them early. And then in the second half where Memphis adjusts, and maybe they come back and make it a close game. But I think Minnesota does take the lead here at some point. I think this is a perfect ARB game. I think you should be able to get plus money on both sides. So, but if you had to pin me down, I do like your take on the under, because I could definitely see this being low scoring. But I think Minnesota does force this game 7.
All right, I took a stand on the total. Tyler took a stand on the side. What are your thoughts, AP?
Yeah, I like the I like the Wolves here. I mean, honestly, I think they should have won this series already. Like, they were a dog that I think that I was on. I know Big T was on also. I mean, they had that game where they lost the 2 20-point comebacks. I wrote them off after that game. I'm like, this team is stupid.
Yeah, I thought
dumb.
they were dead. I don't know how you walk in the locker room after that. So.
Maybe they're just dumb enough for it not to matter. Spread like that's like the only thing I can think of. You have Karl Anthony Towns running his mouth, and then you know what? He's been playing better. He's actually been leading the team the last couple. I think the Wolves get it done. We see a game 7. We also got Scott Foster too reffing this game. Chat's already all over it.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Notorious for extending games. I mean, he tried his best with the Nets there. Like, he gave them every call. Oh man, like he did his job. He did everything he possibly could to get that series to go to extend it a little bit, but it wasn't enough. So yeah, I think I do like the Wolves side here. Are you getting plus 1.5, 2 on them? I think that's a good bet for sure. And then I also like the under. I'm with you there. I think we're going to see more defense in this spot as well. DFS wise, I think it's tough. Like, this is you could go so many different routes with this because the Wolves are tough. It could be a Karl Anthony Towns game. It could be an Anthony Edwards game. We haven't seen D'Angelo Russell do much in this series. He could be one of those guys that goes a little bit overlooked here. And, in tournaments, he could be that guy that you want. Or it could be one of those, random Malik Beasley off the bench games. We haven't seen him in two or three games. And then I think the only, somewhat predictable thing that we can definitely count on is Jaren Jackson getting into foul trouble. I mean, this guy is just incredible. Like, I cannot understand how you go about committing that many fouls. So, like, what you do tonight is play Brandon Clark. He's not going to start at all, but he's going to get starter-type run. They like him in the rotation anyway, but then he gets more run because Jaren Jackson can't stay out of foul trouble. So I really wonder if people are going to play him, and I think that could be a huge edge to the showdown slate tonight because people hate paying a premium for a player coming off the bench, and he's in such a good spot. And if you're not playing him, I think you do have to play Jaren Jackson because, like, one of those two guys is going to be on the court, and Jaren Jackson can't stay out of foul trouble. I mean, man, like, I think I was tweeting it out the other day. Like, I think he has 26 fouls through the series. Maybe more than that now. I mean, I don't know if you guys know off the top of your head, but it's insane. It is absolutely insane.
I know he's got more fouls than shots made in the series.
Yeah,
that's another. That's just insane.
All right, AP, let's talk a little bit of game theory because, I think this is the first NBA rundown we've done since last season where it's a showdown slate. It's a different game, AP. I have to choose a captain here. How do you approach this tonight? Do you choose your top spend guy as your captain? I see, in the captain spot, Jaws all the way up at 17-7, Towns 16-5, Edwards 14-1. Or do you captain in a lower route so you can have the rest of your lineup be stronger? It's kind of devoid of value today, right? We're not expecting a lot of low price guys to get a lot of minutes tonight. How are you approaching this with the showdown perspective?
Yeah, I with job priced way up. Like, I don't have the pricing directly in front of me. I can pull it up here, but I think it's going to be tough. Like, the thing about these two teams is you have so many different pieces who can produce in this game. And so it creates a ton of risk if you want to play a Ja Morant at captain. Like, I think that's going to be more of a tournament play than anything else. Cause, like, for him to hit that number that he needs to hit, he's going to be one, he's going to have to hit shots, and then two, he's going to have to crash the boards for rebounds and then create, generate an assist on offenses. So I would look, man, I'd probably look for like a value type piece and then try to load up on as many of these key guys that I can. And then the other thing I would do is I'm definitely looking at Brandon Clark. I'm really going to be interested to see what his ownership is since he's coming off the bench. And since you have to imagine that he's priced up there. Do you guys know what his price is off the top of your head?
In the non-captain spot, he's $7K. As a captain, he's $12K.
12K. Yeah, so I have captain.
AK for a Clark on normal.
No, okay, yeah, AK. So I mean, yeah, so he's he's priced right there with Desmond Bane. He's priced right there. He's priced over Jaren Jackson. Man, Brandon Clark's going to make for an awesome play, I think, in Showdown. Like, no one's going to pay that type of price for a guy coming off the bench. So I absolutely like him. I think Jared Vanderbilt probably, if he's lower priced, he's going to be someone that's popular. I think Xavier Tillman could end up being a guy, since he's so cheap, that could be a popular play since he starts. I like the idea of fading him, though. We've seen him like produce nothing when he's been out there, and he's kind of in a filler role, and it's Brandon Clark or Jaren Jackson, if he can stay out of foul trouble, that are the guys producing. I think for value, I'd rather take a shot on Tyus Jones, who's been pretty good in a few of these games, and I believe his minutes, he's right at that. So he's played over 20 minutes the last two games, and he's going to actually help to produce when he's out there. So as far as value goes, I feel more comfortable on the Grizzlies side with a guy like Tyus Jones. And then I think in tournaments, it's Brandon Clark. And then on the Wolves side, it's like, man, I mean, if you're going off what's been going on the last couple of games, is Karl Anthony Towns, but I like the idea of going to Anthony Edwards. So I think he made some a crucial mistake there towards the end. I know JSU was talking about that, I believe, on the show yesterday with you guys, and he acknowledged the mistake. I think he comes out and has a big game tonight, so I like him quite a bit. That captain position, though, is going to be interesting. It's going to be like I would maybe even look at like a Tyus Jones captain. I'm not saying that's what I'm going to do or lock in. I would just look at it to see how many guys that allows you to get that can actually produce and put up good fantasy scores into your lineups.
All right, Tyler, props for tonight. What have you found for us?
Yeah, I mean, tonight's a little ugly on the props. I didn't find much I liked, but the one that stuck out to me the most, a guy in our Discord brought it up to me. Karl Anthony Towns over 3.5 turnovers. I mean, dude's just been a turnover machine this whole series. He's beat that number every game, and we're getting plus money on it. So that's one of the only props I like in this game. But I mean, looking at some of these player performance doubles, Cat double and win plus 170, him to score 25 plus and win plus 225, and Edwards to score, or they have him 6+ rebounds and win plus 255. I'm not big on his rebounds that much. Him to score 4+ threes and win plus 275, 25+ points and win plus 285. That'd be some ways I'd try and target this game.
All right. Do you have DraftKings up? Have you looked at this? This is tough. I think it's tough to make a lineup tonight, Tyler. Who would you recommend after looking at your prices if you want to start and build a nice little core for tonight's showdown slate?
I mean, AP pretty much hit on all the guys, but I think that the captain spot, maybe you could slide in Brandon Clark up there. Because it seems like you can get 3 to 4 guys that are still high priced next to him.
How crazy is it to have your captain come off the bench, AP?
I mean, yeah, it's going to be a contrarian route, but if you understand his role on this team and how they need him out there, and he's been a guy that can stay out of foul trouble, I mean, I don't think it's crazy at all. I do think Pat Bev ends up getting some ownership. His price tag looks to be somewhat affordable. And then I think the other guy, Jared Vanderbilt, he's going to be another guy that people use as a filler type play, right there at 4.6. And then it's Xavier Tillman seems like that trap play for sure. Like if I were to have to like give one trap play, it's going to be him. In that same price range, I might rather take a shot on like a Jaden McDaniels, especially in tournament, who's pretty cheap, 2,800 right there. Not a captain play. I think you want far more production Like I could see you even playing Tyus Jones maybe at the captain spot because in the right game script, like I wouldn't play him with Jaw. I would play him with like a Brandon Clark. But in the right game script or fouls or whatever happens, he's at least a guy that has shown some type of upside. But Jaden McDaniel just seems like, a really nice value. I guess if you go back to that very first game in the series, McDaniels put up almost 35 DK points, but it looks like an outlier when you look at all the rest of his performances. So I do feel a little bit better about Tyus Jones as a value piece.
Yeah, I mean, if you go with a little Jaden, right, then there's a lot of routes where you can get Edwards, Morant, and Towns in there. Those guys feel like they're pretty safe, don't you think? I mean,
yeah, another guy too, Taron Prince. So he played 19 minutes last game, 1.4K. So, there's going to be a guy. He's, if you look like the series, he hasn't done much. But if you go back to the regular season, when he's been on the court, he's been a guy that produces in the second unit. So the 19 minutes last game is encouraging. Do you guys know and he took 8 shots. He was 0 for 3 from downtown. Do you guys recall if that was like foul trouble related from other pieces, on the Wolves side or what they were doing? Because that rotation was, I mean, outside of that, he hadn't really played even close to 19 minutes in the other games.
Tyler, do you remember, was Towns in foul trouble? How did Prince get those minutes?
Yeah, I mean, looking at this, Towns had 5 fouls last game. And
that was it. Yeah.
Beverly fouled out. So that's how he got that extended run. What about this McLaughlin, though? They've been giving him more run to shoot threes off the bench. He's only 2,000.
Yeah, I like that. Any of these cheap plays, these cheap guys, I would definitely have. I mean, McLaughlin's too. He's shown some upside for sure. I like that call a lot, Tyler.
Wow. Oh, that's interesting. All right.
He just didn't play in game 1. Is that right?
Yeah.
I can't believe Brandon Clark's higher price than Dylan Brooks. Are you surprised by that, AP?
I mean, yeah, that's just what makes me think that he's going to be a very low-owned play. But, understanding what the Grizzlies have been doing, if anything, we should play him more in tournaments because most people are going to be off of him. Dylan Brooks, phenomenal play, though. He's been incredibly consistent, big minutes out there. He's going to play big minutes tonight. So definitely not saying fade him. Or wait, you said Dylan Brooks, right?
Dylan Brooks is 7K.
I was thinking of Desmond. Okay, I was thinking of Desmond Bane. So I know they're really close in price too. Dylan Brooks has been the guy that is really he's been hurtful fantasy wise, but he's gonna get when he's out there, he's gonna be shooting. So he's definitely in play, and I think due to his price tag, obviously he's gonna get some ownership as well. So if it came down to if I had to play like a Brandon Clark or Dylan Brooks, and it was like a last man in type of play, I'd probably play Brandon Clark because I think he's going to be.
What about Brandon Clark or Desmond Bane?
Oh, man, that's a good question too. I mean, Desmond Bane is obviously safer. He's been incredibly consistent, 40, 35, 45 minutes in these games, in 3 straight games of 40-plus fantasy points. And, he's been solid scoring the basketball too. He's been solid defensively. So I would say Bane, but it's close. I think Brandon Clark, his role in this offense is solid. And then it's just solidified by the fact that we know Jaren Jackson has no ability whatsoever of staying out of foul trouble. Is there a way to bet on someone's fouls? I mean, if I could do that, I would be betting his overs every single time that I could because it's just incredible. If you're watching, I mean, it's 3 minutes in and he has 2 fouls already, getting subbed out. I mean, it's like clockwork every single game. It's incredible.
Right. And when he was a rookie and second-year player, he's going to grow out of it. It's no, I don't think he's going to grow out of it, right? So that's got to be frustrating for the Memphis Grizzlies fans because the guy has so much potential. He's up there as a shot blocker with Steven Adams when he's able to be down low and he
Oh,
doesn't foul.
when he's playing well, he's incredible. I mean,
Yeah.
no, the guy's talented. He can't stay out of foul trouble.
Yeah. All right. So, if we're going to start the lineup, you started with who, Tyler?
I'll take the cheap guy and put McLaughlin in there, 2,000.
All right. You got McLaughlin.
I like that a lot.
Because think about it. If Memphis does grab a lead and they start to win this game, Minnesota's just going to start chucking threes, and he's one of the guys that will just chuck.
Okay. All right. I like that. I will. We talked so much about Brandon Clark. I'll throw him in there as a utility spot. And then, so we got McLaughlin, Clark. So we have one from each side, AP. We have one Timberwolf, one Grizzly. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, I mean, probably Desmond Bane, our next guy in, but it'd be curious. What if we put Brandon Clark at that captain spot? I think that's going to be I don't think a lot of people are going to do that tonight. And then you put McLaughlin in there, and then you put Bane. Let's see what that does. 9K left per position. I mean, you can load up. Yeah, that is pretty good. You can load up on a lot of studs. I mean, Brandon Clark has upside for sure, and not many people are going to play him at the captain spot.
All right, there we go. There's a three-man course. It's a showdown. We'll just stick to three today. Of course, though, to get the in-depth breakdown from all the pros, AP, one of those pros, Tyler and I on the betting side, but we love talking about this stuff with AP. But at runpuresports.com, use that promo code GetBets. You'll get access to all the cores, AP's heat map, and of course, you can go live with the final countdown where JSU, Big T, and Holden break down the slate and ignore Big T's stories. So make sure you were catching on to that because it's a lot of fun every evening. Tyler, let's move to the best bets today. Side total prop. What do you got?
Give me Minnesota's money line at that even money. I think they pull off the win, force the game 7.
All right. Tyler's taking a stand there with the Minnesota money line. AP, what do you got? You're welcome to just join us too. We don't need to all have different bets today.
Yeah, I'm on the Wolves tonight too. Okay. So Wolves side or money line. I'm with Tyler on that.
All right. And I'm going to take the under once again. Like I said, 229.5, too much for an important playoff game with teams that, let's be honest, both of them are young, right? I mean, we think, Memphis, because they have this great regular season record. And, Dylan Brooks has a little bit of playoff experience. Steven Adams got some great experience he can share from the bench, but he's been played out of the lineup, and rightfully so. Great adjustment there by Taylor Jenkins because of the way Minnesota is. They don't have that big bruiser. Even Towns doesn't really want to play down low, kind of limiting Adams' effectiveness. Jenkins not being stubborn there, though, and Adams being a good veteran, not causing problems here. But I just think that total is way too high here. I expect this game to finish between 215 and 220. And even if they get to a fast start, I'll probably double back down. Tyler, do you think Scott Foster screws that total up for me like Zach Zarba did in game 2?
Yeah, I mean, you shot yourself in that foot that night. But tonight, I mean, he could, but I think he's going to extend it. And he's just going to – I could see Memphis's guys getting into foul trouble early. Like, of course, Jaren Jackson's going to be on the bench in the first quarter.
Yeah.
But, I could see
that. That doesn't matter who the referee is.
I could see Jaw diving to the hoop a couple of times, and all of a sudden some offensive fouls get called. Now he's got to put him on the bench, and now you got Tyus Jones out there earlier than you want. So there could be some mischief in this game, but I don't think he's going to screw you that hard on the total.
All right. Tyler thinks there's a little bit of mischief, but I should be okay there with the under. Both these gentlemen like the Timberwolves to force the only game 7 of round 1. I think the NBA would like that as well. So I hope, Adam Silver, if you're watching, you're definitely going to like Tyler and AP's picks. AP, we got a lot of sports going on this weekend, right? Because normally, for what I do, there's no tennis on the weekend, but because the tournament started this week, we're going to have playbooks for tennis all weekend. Of course, there's no NBA tomorrow, right? So JSU and Big T get a day off, but you guys will be back on Sunday. But why don't you catch everybody else up for all the other great content that Run Pure Sports is producing this week?
Yeah, I believe MMA. We got PGA Showdown. We got baseball Saturday. They usually break it up into a couple slates, so we'll have lots of contests there. NASCAR, and then NBA will be back on Sunday, I believe, right?
Yeah, so Sunday's the beginning of our series. The Bucks Celtics, and I think that's already scheduled for noon. So if this goes 7. This should be I don't know if it'll be, so noon my time, 3 o'clock Eastern. I think it would be maybe 6 Eastern. I don't know when they would bring it in or if they'd make it an evening game and start it at 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern. But right now there's one game on Sunday. We'll be back on Monday with glaucoma. And if you think we're going to let this Jazz Maverick thing go, no, we're re-celebrating again with Glock. We're having a whole nother party. I'm going to make all the same jokes. It's going to be a lot of fun. But then on Monday, we'll be discussing the Philadelphia 76ers and the Miami Heat, who that game will be on at 7:30 Eastern. And then at 9 Eastern, the Mavericks and the Suns will begin their series. But, hey, I might be taking that Mavericks number now. Tyler says he thinks they take money. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Showdown Slate should be a lot of fun, of course. The guys will be going over it on the Final Countdown over on the Run Pure Sports YouTube channel. But you will need to be a member to get access. So use that promo code GETBETS if you're not already a member. Thank you, AP, for hanging out. I'm sorry for picking an under on your Friday, but we won't do it again.
Oh, no, spread. It's fine in the playoffs. I've had many of under bets. It is, that's a regular season thing, and mainly early on in the season too, when it's like very little defense, more offense.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Run